Okay, straight to it, part 2. Right, okay, the misunderstanding of this illness. Oh, by the way, I am mincing around my words here, doing that on purpose, because of you have to, don't you? You can't talk about this stuff, you can't say certain words. So, yeah, I am complying with that so that in order so I can talk about this shit and people not gonna feel so alone. There's ways around it. So apologies for the mincing around words and stuff. Hopefully you know what I mean. And if I go like this, that signifies the blue butterfly, and we all know what that's talking about. So let's talk about people who are a bit and how insidious that the condition is, and how we can help them, and how they might not realize that they need or want help, because I'll speak about from my perspective now. So try to help you guys understand, because the insidious thing of it is when you are in it, part of it is that, and you don't know you're doing this. I didn't know I was doing it, but it wasn't intentional, or not for me anyway. Not from the part of me that identifies being me. The part of me that identifies with this illness, which is part of me, I guess. It will try to hide itself by any means, any extreme means. So for an example, as a coping mechanism, legit one, I started to use certain quite extreme substances, and I was like half-assed trying to keep it under wraps, but when people kind of found out, I almost just let them think that was a really big, and it was a really big problem. And this should give some insight into how insidious the little butterfly is, the blue butterfly. If there's an extreme problem, such as extreme things that you can ingest in certain ways, that most people don't do, and a really, really big problem, and it's quite extreme, something like that will just seem like, that's so bad, that must be the main issue here, and it's not. That gives you an idea of just how bad the butterfly is behind that. And that is something that the little blue butterfly will really love to hide behind. It loves it, no matter, as long as the focus is on something else, and that little blue butterfly can stay where it is, winning as far as it's concerned. Yeah. So that, and the lengths it will go to keep going. Another example was when I was actually in the hospital that specialised in treating this little blue butterfly condition, and I got moved because I just went full on into, they offered like tranquilizing substances to help with the anxiety about ingesting nutrition I had, and I just went full into that until it became such a problem that they had to transfer me to gen psych ward and get detox and stuff. And once I was in this other place, they weren't equipped there to handle the little blue butterfly, so it was in its element there. My condition just plummeted. it was really easy to just get away with basic textbook vanilla early onset days of, you know, the Little Blue Butterfly Handbook. I could just, yeah, it was just a piece of cake, excuse the pun, to hide there, just to get away with the bullshit. And even when it came to like a point where my condition was not great, the environment was really not great, and the impact it had on me, especially after a certain amount of time there, was that I was displaying some pseudo symptoms of other psychiatric illnesses. There was a time when I was briefly put on into like the high security against my will, and horrible as that is, that's a topic for another video, ghastly as that experience is and traumatic, there was that little blue butterfly was flapping around my ear saying, like, just you and me now, baby. Yeah, there's only one thing we can do. Like, all my loved ones left me. they come back, of course. But at the time, you know, it seemed like I was abandoned. I had nobody. I had no home to go to. I had no contact with it. It was awful. I had nothing. Not even my autonomy, liberty, freedom. I had lost fucking everything, but no one can take this away from me. I can't lose this. It's like, I'm not even, this thing about not ingesting nutrition. You don't need anything or anyone for that. It's not like when you're addicted to a substance and you have to get a substance in order to feed your addiction. This addiction is literally not doing something, as in not ingesting nutrition. So if you're really stuck and fucked, they can like completely put you in a cage, and then what? You've got nothing to do except nothing, which happens to be your main addiction. So that's when it really got a big grip, and it's fucking terrifying that it does that when you're at your lowest, arguably in a situation that, if you could go back all the steps, you know, could be traced back to this blue butterfly got you there in the first place. And when you're like literally on your knees, it fucking punches you down, like it gets the knife out. It's fucking awful. And this is that's how insidious this thing can be. So, you know, people like certain YouTubers at the moment who are very famous for this, and they don't even have the supporters really anymore. Like, most overwhelming majority are very concerned about them looking like this person is not going to keep staying around for much longer and doing this bullshit. And this person is I can see that this person there's a part of them that is just screaming for some kind of help, although it looks like they don't want it. It looks like that, but there's someone in there just like, don't know what that form that takes, because this person knows, and I know, that detaining me against my will does not fucking work. In fact, it makes it worse. So what can you do? I don't know, but I do know. What I do know is this person and people like them, and people like I was, even till just recently. They're in such a grip of the blue butterfly that it's really just terrifying how much that thing can get a grip on someone, and just hide behind everything, including the denial. and pretty much everything they're hiding behind is the denial. So yeah, what absolutely doesn't help is shame and guilt. So, you know, telling someone that they're a terrible person, or that they're selfish, or that they're hurting everyone they love, and so destructive to people around them, and toxic, and whatever you might guilt and shame someone living with this condition. That doesn't work. That makes it worse. That blue butterfly feeds off this shit. Because basically what you're doing when the blue butterfly does is this host is killing them. It's like slow form of what do you call it, auto delete unalive. In a slow form of, in the slowest and most brutal, nasty, painful ways. Like, that is a form of torture. You would not do that to another human being unless there was something ghastly wrong with you. But we do it to ourselves. So there's an element of really deep kind of, I don't know what it must be, some kind of self-loathing or something going on. So really what does not help is guilt and shame. It really, really doesn't help. So that's on one extreme. On the other end of the spectrum, what really does not help is enabling. So let's use this YouTuber as an example. They did used to have quite a lot of enablers, still got a couple of die-hard ones, and this is as toxic, if not more so, than the shame and guilt people. And what these people are doing are the opposite. So they'll just ignore what's blatantly obvious, tell them how cute they look, tell them like just, you know, nice compliments and stuff and what they want to hear, and this person will only focus on these nice comments, ignoring all the pleas for help and caring ones. And they will want to only engage in distractions, so, you know, talking about fucking outfits or cosmetics or Disney or something. This person will engage rapid, like, just for ages and shit like that. So people give them an inlet to do that, and that is really not helping as well, because it's just in an equal yet opposite way. It is also feeding this blue butterfly. Excuse me. Maybe I'm coughing because of how toxic this shit is. Get out. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, those are two ways that absolutely don't help. Really, really don't. One, oh look. Sorry I got distracted, but can you see? The leaves. Autumn leaves falling all around. So beautiful. Ugh. Don't know if I'm capturing any. I see a lot in front of the camera, but yeah, they're so nice. Look at it. Beautiful. Sorry, got really distracted by beautiful nature. Right, so what does help then? Let me think. What does help? This is a tricky one to answer, even for me, because when someone is in the grip of this thing, it is really hard to get through to the actual person. But certain things do help. And you know, this video is getting a bit long, so I'll wrap it up for now. But Yeah, like two. There's a quote that I know, which is honesty without kindness is brutality, and kindness without honesty is manipulation. There we go. So the guilt and shame people are brutal brutes, engaging in brutality, and the enablers, they are manipulators, or at least helping the sickness to manipulate that person and others. Both bad. So the key here, and it can come in any authentic form, is kindness plus honesty. Kindness plus honesty. And kindness, this doesn't really happen in just one act, unfortunately. You've got to be patient and repeated gentle repetitions of the kindness and honesty. It does have to be gentle, and I appreciate that might seem very frustrating when you're scared, when you're feeling hurt or angry, to maintain, when it feels like perhaps you're not getting through and you get frustrated. I understand that. I also have been on the other side. I've had loved ones who've had problems like this too, and I know how it is to be watching them go through it, as well as how it is to go through it myself. So yeah, what does help is consistent and constant kindness plus honesty. Don't let either of them melt away, because otherwise then you seep over into brutality or manipulation. And yeah. And also the constancy there as well, like, if you sort of disappear for more than a month, maybe that can seem like a long time. A lot can happen, although it's not your duty to be around. If you need to take time, then. And that's the thing as well, like the people who I knew got it, like really understood and were always there for me. It's the people I hold closest to my heart. Sometimes they needed to step back, but they would tell me with kindness, and there's the honesty, like, I'm really sorry. They were making sure that I wasn't perceiving it as anything personal, although it kind of half was. They would say, for example, I've got stuff going on in my own life, and it's a lot right now, and I just need to take a little step back. This is too much, it's too upsetting, I'll be back, I'm sorry. I did have that. And if you need to do that, then it's important that you do, because you don't want to burn out and you don't want to end up with some problem of your own. I've seen this happen too, and when you take on too much dealing with a loved one, and you can neglect your own self-care and stuff, and end up suffering with something similar, or some kind of addiction issue or something like that. I've been there too. Okay, I'm going to wrap this one up right now before I get to 20 minutes. Just want to say at the end, thank you for listening. For anyone who can benefit from this, you're doing a really big service to just anything that you can do. I just had to having the awareness. Also, I just want to say as like a disclaimer, but at the end, I'm sorry for how I smile and laugh a lot when I'm talking about really uncomfortable or really dark topics. I understand that it can seem really inappropriate. It's something I'm aware of, I'm still trying to iron out. And yeah, it's basically like a regulation thing that I do to kind of make it easier on myself to cope with the pain. You know, I did it again just now, like smiling, laughing, kind of offsets the actual pain as discomfort that is actually felt when discussing certain things. So that is something that I do. I want to apologise for that, also for the future video. Thank you.